Well, ladies and gentlemen, very warm welcome to Germany. Good afternoon. Danube is also a German river, so we do have the right to wish you a warm welcome. Speaking of the Oscar Academy Award, and this reminded me with this jet ski, I wanted to say that I don't know how familiar you are, but the Oscar winner for this year is the film of Mexican-American director, and the title is The Shape of Water. Can you imagine how everything coincides today? Waterways, Shape of Water, Danube Competence Center. So it says that water is not only the resource number one on planet Earth, it is also the inspiration, but it is also the source for many, many businesses. And as one of the writers once said, he's actually a Serbian writer who resided in Canada. He said, if the world was all over the same, people would have no interest to go and see other places. Cruising companies are probably the best and instant way to see many places at the same time. And inspiration for artists is not only in films, it is in music. We all know the Blue Danube and the Viennese Waltz by Strauss. We also know the literature. Claudio Magris wrote an excellent book about the Danube, but there are many writers who wrote many other very interesting novels about different rivers of the world. Inspiration and motivation and trust in European idea was probably the main reason that we decided to establish the Danube Competency Center in 2010. We actually started the preparations in 2009, and as the result of let's say, creative and design thinking, we decided to have an organization which will bring 10 Danube countries together. Michelle asked, how do we manage to get them together? And not only the countries, there are different stakeholders, public, private, stakeholders from the civil sector, academy. More than 60 of them are the members of the Danube Competency Center, and it is not an easy task. It is, in opposed to that, it is very, very challenging, especially because Danube is not only diversified in all assets, but it is also different. Northern countries are much more developed than southern countries, and the needs are different. Anyhow, what we secured when deciding to open the Danube Competency Center was to actually find a common ground. What is the common ground? We want to promote Europe. We want to promote the nature, the cultural heritage, the gastronomy and wines, the experience for the people, which is slightly different from maybe something they have had before. So we found the common ground. Then we needed to have a courage to do something like this. It was 2009 when we started this. Then we said, okay, now we are ready, we are determined, we want to do that. And then we had to establish relations. And these relations had to be based on confidentiality. And this is not an easy task nowadays. So we did that. And then afterwards we said, okay, and now what? Now we have to create the product. How do we do that? We do have members from all these three sectors. We collected their ideas. We also collected some other ideas. And then we also try to work in all European projects, which are actually the platform, the basis for the product development. We are still working on that. As I said, it is not an easy thing to do, but we try to diversify all these activities in order to have a product general offer which will suit the interests of our clients. We do not have really, we do not have sales activities. We do have a mediation role between the buyers and suppliers. And we try to bring them together in order to facilitate their needs. We also work very much within the frame or in line with European strategy for the Danube region. This is one of the 4 macro strategies adopted by EU. So this gives us the opportunity to expand our activities at the larger scale. What we also consider as one of the important activities apart from the projects is a kind of educational training and trade seminars, among which the most prominent, although quite young, is the Danube Trade Masterclass, which is entirely dedicated to the cruising industry. And the first one we had in Belgrade, the second one, the air is quite dry. The second one was in Budapest last year. So we haven't been at the Chinese market, but we are working very hard, head and shoulders with ETC to be at the Chinese market during this year, which is entirely dedicated by Europe to Chinese market. It is actually, and I'm quite sure that you know, that it is, this 2018 is pronounced as EU-China Tourism Year. Now I will hand over to Danko to tell you more about some of our activities in more details, and then I'll try to wrap up the whole thing. Thank you very much.
I'll try to speak very short, not only because we have 13 minutes left, but also because I think that it's better to see what Danube is about and what kind of partnership the Danube can generate, and also to hear that from so to say proxies, from the different stakeholders that are on the Danube, that are, I believe, more convincing than we can be at this point in time. So we'll start with the cruising season.
Normalerweise machen wir Sommersaison, das heißt von April bis Oktober, und im Winter haben wir größtenteils frei. Also wir fahren eigentlich nur im Sommer, genießen die Donau dann, wenn sie am schönsten ist, nämlich im Sommer, wenn alles grün ist und die Ufer schön sind und grün sind.
This is from the captain. As you can hear, the season is kind of short, but we are lucky that the captains from various companies are true enthusiasts. They do love the Danube, that they enjoy the Danube as much as their cruise tourists. But speaking of the Danube, and I think that was already mentioned, that Danube connects 10 European countries, not all of them in the EU, but still the European countries. But connects much more. It is the river that approximately 100 million people are living on the shores or nearby. It connects 20 different languages that are spoken along the Danube. And more importantly, as Jos was saying, it connects at the same time so similar and so different cultural heritage and traditions.
are in the tallest church in the planet Earth, in Danube, in Germany. It's 161.5 meters tall.
Größte Kirchenorgel der Welt, gell?
Die größte Kirchenorgel der Welt. Das ist ein Wahnsinn. Und macht ihr da im Endeffekt auch Konzerte, wo dann die Leute herkommen, wo die Orgel gespielt wird?
Wir haben ein tägliches Orgelkonzert von 12 bis halb 1.
Ja.
Und das geht von Montag bis Samstag.
The Last Supper that was designed here is made 130 years before the Last Supper of Leonardo da Vinci, for example. So they are very early in the time, and they are very, how to say, Renaissance. Actually, this is the Renaissance that happened here, but the East European style of it.
People was simple. They love to fight, they love to hunt, they don't love when invaders come, but they love to invade.
Per aspera dastra!
As our last presenter said, his name is Mitko. We are a simple people. You know, we like to invade and do not like to be invaded as anyone else. But we do like tourists, and we love when they're coming, and cruising along the Danube is probably the easiest and the most effective way to travel along this really rich and diverse culture, to meet and learn about local traditions and local customs. And through a cooperation with the local stakeholders, the cruise companies can even offer a more touch into the everyday life of the people, into the everyday customs, where the hospitality along the Danube, starting from Germany and ending in Romania, is one of the things that the Danubian people are very proud of. At least I believe they are.
Where is the Black Sea? That way or that way?
The Black Sea is definitely that way. It might be a bit confusing because, you know, we came with the ship that way from Passau. And here, this is the most famous thing about this place. The Danube turns around 180 degrees.
All the important places, stops, most of them are good campsites. And this is the arm system. And we will go from there, we will go through here, we will go around, and then we will go back.
So welcome to the nature park Kopachkirit. The nature park is situated between two rivers, Odrava and the Danube River. We are now on the territory of the special zoological reserve. So no fishing and no hunting in this area is not allowed here.
Mali veliki Kazan, mesto gde je Dunav najuži na celom svom toku. Kod Golubca opet mesto gde je Dunav najširi na celom svom toku.
Дъщеря Магура. Магура означава пряк наследник, потомък на богинята майка.
So this is it, huh?
This is it.
The end of Danube.
Game over.
But every drop of the Black Sea has a small portion of Danube in it. The Danube is the second largest European river, but it's the only country in the world that connects the trans to 10 countries. It has, just to stay within this largest in the world, it has the largest gorge in Europe. It has the largest stone face in Europe, as you saw. But it has an extraordinary natural scenery that really provides the context that hardly you can find or hardly you can match in other parts of the world. And if you can match it in the other parts of the world, then the Danube has another advantage, and this is that on Danube there is no living creature that can eat you. So you can explore Danube completely safe for your life, for your legs. Mosquitoes can bite you, but at some point that might be a part of the experience.
Excuse me, for the Black Sea, where should I go? This way or that way?
That way.
That way.
Ove godine će biti dobra berba, kvaliteta grožđa je zaista dobra i očekujemo vrhunska vina.
And people that are traveling the Danube can actually expect that they are getting a good wine.
Živeli.
I should say they are all good. They taste very good, but my personal favorite is the golden one, dry. Na zdravje. We say na zdravje.
Na zdravje.
Oh, something completely different, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. It's just all about wine here. You have every house here, if you have a look, is a wine shop, is a winery.
Cheers. How do you say cheers?
Eke šegedre. The wineries bring their wine here and they offer it for the same price as you would buy it at their place. It's a great opportunity if you just stay for a couple of days here and you don't have the possibility to get to all the wineries to taste some different wines.
I think it's that idea of going back to what is naturally growing here.
And let's taste. Oh, the smell is incredible, you know? Really nice. Oh, amazing.
Actually, we are now at the confluence of the Danube
which is approaching us here from the west, and the Black Sea. It's actually approaching the Black Sea in 3 different ways and a lot of channels. So we are actually sticking very much to Romanian wine at that time. The wine is dry, nice, fresh, and that's how the music is.
So we chose 3 different perspectives, pretty much, I say, among many others that exist along the Danube, just to show you how much or what we believe can inspire you or travel to develop or travelers to travel along the Danube. But instead of concluding this part, let me ask a lady that we met along the Danube to tell what is more about the Danube.
What can I tell you about the Danube? I mean, it's massive when you get out towards the sea, isn't it? And beautiful capital cities to go through, yes, because you go through Vienna, Bratislava, Budapest, and Belgrade, and you know I'd never visited any of those cities, and it was the river that took me to them.
Something what adds to the Danube offer. 4 capitals on one river, and the 5th capital not so far from the Danube. This is Bucharest. But before we conclude today, we do hope that you will take into consideration the cruise on the Danube. Don't forget that you will be able to make a breakout to attend a festival, or maybe to ride the bicycle or walk through the natural parks, or maybe even fish. But when I said fish, I have to conclude with food and wines. I hope that everybody had lunch already, but starting from the Schwarzwald cake in Black Forest, through all other delicious sweets, including Sacher cake in Vienna, and Dobosch cake in Budapest. Excellent food, goose liver, goulash, Wiener Schnitzel, pork in Germany, and delicious fish. But there are also a variety of restaurants where you could always get Chinese food. But I'm sure that our friends from cruising companies, as it was already mentioned, take good care of you on board. Thank you very much, and please get in touch with us. We will be happy to answer your questions and assist you in creating your trip. Thank you.
Thank you.